For every problem one identifies and is able to provide solution, wealth is in it.
Are there best strategies for a salary earner to save?
Whatever side hustle you'll be doing shouldn't create stress for the primary work you are doing.
What are the best side hustles or passive income ideas for a full-time salary earner? With the rising living costs and the economic uncertainties, is it possible to achieve financial freedom as a salary earner? How can you break free from financial bondage with the regular 9 to 5? Welcome to Wisdom Edge, a platform where we access wisdom and knowledge for positive living. I am Oziri Gospel, your host, and in this episode, we will be discussing a very important topic, and that is unlocking financial freedom as a salary earner. Unlocking financial freedom as a salary earner. And with me today in the studio is the finance and audit expert, Mr. Simeon Abo.
Thank you, Mr. Oziri Gospel.
It's good to have you here.
I'm delighted to be at Wisdom Edge. Thank you very much for having me.
All right, as the profession demands, finance, auditing, and all the rest, what does it look like being a financial expert?
Okay, so for one, it's an exciting journey, knowing that one can also pursue purpose. In line of being an employee, I would like to use that word because instead of being a salary earner, it's subject to you trying to achieve purpose in every field of life you have found yourself. So finding myself on finance and audits, it has been an exciting journey over the years, over a decade, and I would like to say I can't wait for what the future holds because drinking from the wells of our senior pastor, we know that the glory of our latter day is surely greater than the former.
That's right.
So I would like to say I'm most delighted to be once again here at Wisdom Edge.
All right, now we're talking about financial freedom. If I should ask this question to you directly, what exactly is financial freedom? What does it mean to you? And as well as a follow-up, what would it also mean to a salary earner?
I would like to answer this with a backing.
Okay.
Scripturally. I would like us to turn our Bibles to Proverbs 22, verse 7. I would like to read, permit me. So the rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the leader. So my interpretation to financial freedom cannot be far away from the biblical sense. Financial freedom is not just about accumulating wealth.
Okay.
It's not about accumulating wealth, but having the ability to steward relationships, resources, responsibly without being enslaved by debt or material desires. It's about having the capacity to give generously and to live a life aligned with God's purpose. My perspective of a salary earner is one who has enough money and savings to cover his or her living expenses, pursue personal goals, and give without constant financial stress. It's about having control over one's time and choices, not being a slave to paycheck, which was the reason why when I started, I said I would like to say an employee and not a salary earner. It's a thing of the mind. It's a thing of the mind. So I would like to see that a salary earner is someone who is not just waiting for that date of the month.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
So the difference now is it's about the mindset, a salary earner and an employee.
Yeah, exactly. So,
but do you think, because a lot of persons would feel that financial freedom is basically for the businessman, a businessman, financial freedom. Oh, I've gained financial freedom. I no longer work under someone. I don't owe my. I don't have to respond to anyone. I don't have to report to anyone. I'm a businessman. I've gained financial freedom. Is that actually correct? Because I feel it might be a myth, or is it true?
Once more, thank you, Gospel. I would like to also use a scripture to back this up. But before I go further, I would like to say it's a myth. Okay. It is a myth. I would like to trace it to scriptures in Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 19. Permit me to read once more. As for every man to whom God had given riches and wealth, and had given him power to eat thereof, and to take his portion, and to rejoice in his labor, this is the gift of God to all men. This goes to show that God gives wealth through various forms of labor. So permit me to say it's a myth, because it's not just business owners. So yes, business ownership can create opportunities for wealth, but permit me to also mention financial freedom is attainable for also salary earners through disciplined savings, investing, and wise fund management.
Please, can you take that one more time? That's deep. That's deep.
So that's why I started by referencing Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 19, that talks about that God shall give us our portion in the labor we find our hands doing. So it doesn't matter you being a salary earner, neither you being a business owner. That's why I said it's a myth.
Wow. So is there a possibility, is there a possibility for a salary earner to maximize what he gets and not just depend on his paycheck?
Permit me, I'll be making references to some scriptures.
Yes,
so
yes.
the question I feel is, as a salary earner, how will you maximize your paycheck? So it doesn't matter the amount. That's why I started by saying it's a thing of the mindset.
Yes.
It's a thing of the mindset. So that would draw me back to a scripture in Proverbs 22 verse 29. Permit me to read once more. Seest thou a man diligent in his business?
Diligent.
He shall stand before kings. He shall not stand before mean men. Diligence, permit me to say, and skill, development open doors to advancement.
Wow.
Now, I would like to use the word that trends these days. People call it side hustles.
Okay.
Now, for every businessman and also a salary earner, side hustles, skill development for career advancement and seeking opportunities for bonuses and raises makes you maximize your paycheck.
Oh.
Yes.
No wonder in the Bible as well, when God created Eden, the Garden of Eden, Scripture has it that we have 4 rivers.
Yes.
Okay, we have 4 rivers flowing different directions, and financial gurus and wealthy men of impact have always come up to say you should have a minimum of 4 different income.
Yes.
4 different flow of financial income. And would you go with that school of thought, or it's that so much?
Okay. Once more, permit me to say, when I said side hustles, I was trying to paraphrase. Side hustle could mean you as a salary earner, you have a skill.
Yeah.
Even on the job you are doing, you have developed yourself in such a way that you become so relevant, that your light is so shining and it's not dimming, that people around you can see so much to tap into. Now, for every problem one identifies and is able to provide solution, wealth is in it.
Oh.
So even as a salary earner, you are able to identify a problem within a workplace. I bet you bonuses, promotions come for you. So yes, when you talk about different streams of income, you could be a salary earner. Before the month ends, bonuses can come for you.
Yeah.
You could also be a shareholder in that business and so other things. So if you are a finance person and you are a chartered professional accountant, You could also maximize your skill, also attending lectures, delivering lectures, being called upon to give professional advisory services, and lots more. Yes.
Okay, so as a financial expert, everyone wants better for himself.
Yes.
And possibly one is not satisfied with what he gets. And some persons will say, save first before, or invest first before you start spending, or save first before you start spending. Are there best strategies for a salary earner? I'm speaking the mind of someone out there, actually. Are there best strategies for a salary earner to save? What are the best strategies? If there are, what are the best strategies for a salary earner to save?
Okay, best strategies for someone with a stable salary. Permit me, I also make reference to Proverbs 21, verse 20, that talks about there is a treasure to be desired and oil in the dwelling of the wise, but a foolish man spent it up. Wise saving is a mark of wisdom. The Bible said wisdom is profitable to direct. I'm talking about our senior pastor tells us he tells us what he's doing. I'm telling you particularly what I do.
Okay.
So one of the strategies I can tell you is budgeting. So some people for one, people's knowing you to be an accountant, or you mustn't be an accountant. Budgeting, everyone does budgeting.
Yeah.
If you want to go into the market, you have an idea, you have a pictorial idea of what you are going out to do. That is budgeting. You're actually having a forecast of what you are going for.
Yeah.
Now, we have gone past the era of traditional ways, but you can also automate your budgeting, automate your savings. Now, I'll give an example. So, if you are someone who desires accountability in the home front as a salary earner, you could have, for instance, a drive, an access where you can access it in any of your devices, even though you are traveling. You can keep track of the budget of items you intended to spend even before your paycheck comes. So you are not moved with ability of we call it impulse buying.
Impulse.
Yes. So you can also give allowance of even paying yourself. So now I need you to understand something. It's not about you going to earn from the workplace, but it's about you going to work, and also from your different streams, you make a budget and pay yourself from it. So with that, I would say the mindset, you're having a growth mindset. You are just moving away from the part of I'm waiting for that date of paycheck. So one of the strategies I'll talk about, one, ensure you ensure you go into budgeting, which I've explained. Also, come up with automating your savings, and also try and create an emergency fund. You mustn't wait for meter to go out in your house before you start thinking of purchase of where should I get funds. You shouldn't think of your wife is about to deliver.
Wow.
You plan resources. Okay, so as senior pastor will say, you have 9 months to plan. So 9 months to plan, you create a budget. For this period, what do I expect to have as resources before my wife delivers? So for me, as a strategy, as a salary earner, I would like to say budgeting, automating your savings, and also having emergency funds saved.
I'm so excited because I believe this is blessing someone out there. Personally, it's blessing me. I'm just trying to note down budgeting, automating savings, and having the last point there was having
having emergency fund. Yes.
Emergency fund.
Something to run to.
Yeah, because sometimes we just live our life that way. We just wait for the end of the month. We get the paycheck, and then we are okay. And before you know, now some persons spend their pay before it comes.
So
I don't know why.
Our senior pastor will say that's anti-covenant. Yes.
So you have to plan and make sure you make good use of the funds and resources as they come in. Multiple streams of income, just like Mr. Simeon has said, is very important. So, but how can an employee start investing with these limited funds that come his way? Remember, I talked about just a while ago, I talked about spending before it comes. So, for instance, I get 150 naira salary.
150,000.
But
could there be any 150 naira in this dispensation? Yes.
All right, 150,000 naira salary, and before the month runs out, or even before the next pay comes, I'm running a minus already.
It's possible.
So, how do I now make positive investments with limited funds? Because by the end of the day, I'm left with little or nothing. Is it possible at all?
Okay.
Please help us.
I am being helped by God to be here. Okay, so I would like to draw our attention to this the scripture, Luke chapter 16, verse 10. Permit me, I'll be talking about scriptures.
That's
he that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much. And he that is unjust in the least is unjust also in much. So I have a counsel.
Good.
Start small and be faithful. So I would like to say this. One of the strategies for you making use of funds, even with what we call limited resources, they say the resources are scarce. So I would like to say there are fractional shares around. For one, we know about dollar cost, what we in finance call hedging. You can also go in hedging is where, for instance, I know, okay, this thing, there's tendency of it increasing. Why don't I look into the future? That's the part where we talk about divine direction. So what is this? So remember, I'm trying to talk about salary now. What is the divine direction in you managing your funds?
Yeah.
So I would like to talk about utilizing employee-sponsored retirement plans. So there are a lot of retirement plans that the authorities have mandated the employer to actually deduct about 8%. To deduct 8% from your pay, and they also remit at least 10%. But there's also a section of voluntary contribution, right? So there are opportunities out there that can give you that leverage to look into. So I would like to say you should be led divinely for the strategies that I've mentioned. Yes, so you might decide not to go voluntary contribution. You might decide to go into dollar cost averaging, as I've mentioned, as hedging. You can also go into fractional shares. There are shares being sold of viable organizations around. Now, so they could say, okay, a unit of shares goes for at least, let's say, 50 naira. So it's left for you to look into it. Okay, even though it is 2,000 naira, start from there. As the scripture in Luke chapter 16, verse 10, even it's little, be faithful in it.
Okay, so you talked about multiple streams of income, while some other persons would call it side hustle.
Exactly. I decided to mention that because I think it's something we can relate with.
Yeah. So, what are the best multiple streams of income? I'm trying to skip that side hustle. Okay, for the benefit of everyone, let's make use of that. So what are the best side hustles or passive income ideas for a full-time salary earner?
Okay, so when you thank you, Gospel. When you started, we were talking about unlocking financial freedom for a salary earner. That goes to show that your time is being paid for by an employer, assuming it's 9 to 5. What it means is you have to be diligent in that work. So whatever side hustle you'll be doing shouldn't create stress for the primary work you are doing. And I'll try to draw this attention to a scripture, Proverbs 31 verse 16, that reads, "She considered a field and buyeth it. With the fruit of her hands, she planted a vineyard." Utilizing one's skills for additional income is commendable. So, as I rightly mentioned, that you are actively involved in your job, you might not need to to use that job and you in between and you are side hustling. So what am I trying to say is you first of all have to develop skill.
Okay.
Now, how do you develop skills? There are a lot of strategies to develop skills. So you could decide to go into freelancing. So so if you find yourself that you are good in volunteering, there are a lot of NGOs, you want to build capacity. So away from your 9 to 5, you can decide, okay, after work, do I have a skill that I can go into? So you could decide to go into freelancing or online courses to build your skill first, and also content creation. So if you are good in that your 9 to 5, there is someone out there who needs to know about the knowledge you have.
That's right.
So if I'm good in auditing, I could decide to mentor a set of people. From there, passive income has started coming up. That could be a passive income idea. And also utilizing your skills for consulting. As I rightly mentioned, what you have, you don't know, a lot of people are looking for that skill out there. So you could come up with developing those skills for consulting based on individual talents and also time availability. Remember, your 9 to 5 job must not suffer because you are going into a side hustle. But you have to be creative that after my 9 to 5, I need to build a skill that will take me to the next level in the future. Thank you.
Let's bring it home. I am a Christian. I have a job, but I want to serve in church. Let's balance this, because sometimes some persons will say they are being persecuted.
True.
It is a temptation. I want to serve my God in church.
True.
However, their job is being stressed out.
True.
So when you receive the query, you want to say, "Oh God, why am I not serving you?" Can we have a balance on that? How can we balance service in church or doing kingdom work and your employment?
So our senior pastor always uses this scripture as a point of reference to us all. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 1, that states, "To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under heaven." Permit me to say, time management is key. It's about recognizing the seasons and purpose. So in all, I would say, you need to prioritize and also time block. Time blocking is where if I need to be at work by 9 o'clock, I need to be aware that anything that would take me away from being at that work after 9 needs to be blocked. So that goes to also show that after 5, whatever that needs me after 5, and I'm going to develop my skill, needs to be blocked. That does not mean you're not serious, but you are prioritizing. Also, I would like to say, setting realistic goals. So some of us are working as salary earners, and we have unrealistic goals. As sometimes I would like to define my goals as being SMART. You need to have a specific, measurable, attainable, realizable, and timely goals. So all these SMART goals ensure that there's a reward in it, because you cannot have goals that there is no reward in it. So one, what is my purpose? If, as you mentioned, being in church, so I should be able to connect my time of worship with what I perceive God is going to dwell in my life. So at that time, if I'm in a time of worship, I know that I've time blocked every other thing.
Please, let's take that principle, that SMART principle again.
Okay.
SMART principle. So
SMART it has to be specific, measurable, attainable, realizable, and timely. So I'd like to define the R there as ensuring that there's a reward in that your goal. So yes, you have to have SMART goal, but try to ensure that it's SMART. It's a SMART goal: specific, measurable, attainable, realizable, and timely goal. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so is it possible as an employee to eliminate debt while you are saving and investing? Is there a possibility?
Okay, so the temptation to live beyond our means is there, but I would like to also quote a scripture according to Romans.
Please go ahead.
According to Romans 13 verse 8, that states, "Owe no man anything." It's an instruction.
Oh.
owe no man anything but to love one another. For he that loveth another hath fulfilled the law. Avoiding and eliminating debt is a biblical principle. It's not negotiable. Okay, so I would like to use a practical example. I'm sorry, my wife, I was going to mention this here. So when we were planning my marriage, we agreed there was not going to be debt.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to say is, whatever you have set your mind on as a SMART goal, ensure that you manage the funds within your limits.
Okay.
Manage the funds within your limits. Creating a debt repayment plan, it's something that can actually weigh you down. It's actually something that can actually weigh you down. But if you have it penned down from your budget, so assuming someone who is earning, assuming 100,000, and I need to settle something quickly, and I need to have 10,000 naira from someone, I know for sure 10,000 is doable for me to pay. So in that, I can include it in my budget that this is something I need to pay quickly. Not that I'm earning 100,000 and I know I'm going to be collecting 1.2 million. One, won't you feed? Won't you pay rent? Won't you provide for your family?
That's right.
Won't you pay your tithes?
That's right.
So looking at all this, you can see that it's really not a SMART goal. It's for you pursuing something of a 1.2 million naira. Yes, I could call that daring the undareable.
All right, now this takes me to the next question about planning. How important is financial planning? How important is financial planning, and what should be included in a salary earner's plan?
To take this to the next level, I would like to mention that the Bible has made us to understand in Proverbs 16 verse 9 that a man's heart devises his ways, but the Lord directed his steps. Planning is very important, but God's guidance is essential. Please, I need us to understand that financial planning is very crucial. It helps provide direction. It gives us accountability, and also ensures that it helps you achieve your financial goals. A plan should involve, as I rightly mentioned, budgeting, saving plan, should in case you have a debt that you need to repay. Do you have repayment plan? So it's not just enough that you have budget, but you need to have a debt repayment plan, and also investment strategies and retirement planning, as I've mentioned. So yes, as we mentioned in Proverbs 16 verse 9, a man's heart devised his way. So you might have a way that seems right, but how is it to God? Because the Lord directed our step. So I would like to say we shouldn't dive into things without God directing our steps.
God has to come first.
Yes.
And I believe when we keep God behind and assume position as first, it becomes one of the errors, one of the mistakes we make. And that tells me that there should be some mistakes some employees make rather, in this aspect of financial freedom.
Yes.
So as a financial expert, can you tell us some of those mistakes that salary earners make? It's broad anyway.
Okay, so the scripture Proverbs 21 verse 17 comes to mind. We're talking about mistakes we make. And I'd like to read a scripture that says, he that loveth pleasure shall be a poor man. There was no two ways it was said. He that loveth pleasure shall be a poor man, that he that loveth wine and oil shall not be rich.
Oh.
Please, I feel this needs to be like an instruction. Avoid excessive spending on pleasure. I like to say the word, avoid excessive spending on pleasure. Now, living beyond your means as a salary earner, not saving enough, neglecting debts, and failing to invest, avoid by budgeting, disciplined spending, and seeking financial education. I'd like us to understand that we all need to know that these mistakes that we all make needs to be corrected. First, avoid living beyond your means. So there are some people mistake the word excellence for for living beyond their means. So nothing stops. I remember during our Dunamis School of Ministry trainings, one of the pastors rightly gave us an example. He said, you mustn't go to the most expensive boutiques to look sharp.
That's right.
So I would like to use the word, like you could have a few naira that you could afford a good-looking suit, but nothing stops you from going to the thrift store to get a long sleeve. Now, because of the mindset you have, you're not living in the current. You have a picture of the better tomorrow. So as I started by saying, the scripture says, the glory of our latter day shall be greater than the former. There were seasons we trusted God for suits. There were seasons we trusted God for shoe. But are we where we are today? That should point to us that the glory of our latter day shall be greater than the former. So the mistakes we all make is living beyond our means. So, yes, you could be earning 100,000, but the question I need to put to you, what is your lifestyle? Try avoiding living beyond your means. No one cares the lifestyle you are living, because if you go into the eyes of people, no one cares actually. It could just be a show off. So I would like to summarize that question with answering that: avoid living beyond your means.
I will pass you as a lecturer. A lecturer in financial auditing. Right. Before we wrap it up, I would like to ask this one more question. Very important. Let's just do a conclusion. What steps should a salary earner take? I want to break free from financial bondage. I want to break free from financial instability. I want to break free from financial indiscipline. There are steps I should have to take. Please help us and itemize those steps as much as you can, so that someone out there is eager to know, what should I do? What steps should I take to break loose from this financial bondage? Please.
The steps I would like to say, I've literally mentioned while we're talking, but I would like to emphatically mention them so that we take note. Please, today, if you have not done something, pick a pen, pick a paper, create a budget. That's first. Start an emergency fund. What's an emergency fund? I need to buy a TV by 6 months' time.
Okay.
How much is the TV? You need to know the cost, because having a picture of the future you want to picture in, you need to have the idea of where you are going to.
Wow.
That could also enlarge your mindset. So if the TV you want is about 600,000 and your salary is 300,000, at that moment, you know for sure, I need to save at least, let's assume 30,000 naira, or let's assume you want to save 60,000. And that goes to show you in 10 months. But are you aware that even before the 10 months, you can actually buy that TV? Because your mindset can be increasing. From the work you are doing as a salary earner, you could develop a skill from there. And who knows, 100,000 could come from a deal you broke through. And you pay your tithe from there, and you take out another, instead of 60, you take out 80. You have reduced a 1 month ahead, backward. Doing that alone, you have created more mindset. Another thing I would like to say is pay off all high interest debts. If you have any debt currently, please try and pay off all high interest debts. You need to live a debt-free life for you to move forward. That's one. And also begin investing, even though with small amounts. So someone might say, how do I invest? So there's something called portfolio management. So you don't put everything in one basket. There was a time in my life that I learned the hard way. That was about few months to my wedding. And if I didn't practice diversification, so at that time I would have said, who did me this? So diversification helped me, even though I had investment that went sour, but diversification came in. I didn't put everything in one basket. So I would like to say, by rounding it off with a scripture in Hebrew chapter 3 verse 15, why it is said, today, if ye hear his voice, hearken not your hearts, as in the provocation, take action when? Today. So I'd like to say, if you need to hear an advice, please, if you pen down all I said, take that action today.
Oh, so you can emphatically say that financial freedom is not just for business owners alone.
It's a myth.
So as a salary earner, you can also break free from financial bondage. I do not know how to thank our guest here. Please, can you help me thank our guest who has done justice to this topic, Mr. Simeon Abo. Oh, you say Dr. Simeon.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
To have you here.
Thank
you so much.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how to say this, but we'll have to call it up here. It's been an exciting moment to have this wonderful, handsome-looking gentleman whose wife is lucky to have.
The glory of God.
Oh, so some persons will say the reverse is the case. But it's a good thing to have him here to, take us through this topic. And by the mercies of God, we've been able to do justice to this topic. We've been able to let us know that financial freedom is not just for business owners alone. As a salary earner, you can as well break free from financial bondage. It's been a wonderful time here with our guest. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you found this very interesting, please, we ask that you like this post, of course. Drop your comments. If you have questions, I believe you have some questions that need to be treated. Please drop your comments and questions on the comment section, and do well to share so that someone out there can benefit from what you have just learned. Remember that wisdom is a principal thing, and in all you're getting, don't forget to get wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. My name is Oziri Gospel, and this is the Wisdom Edge. We will see you in our next episode. Do have a wonderful day.